episode of Peacekeepers Network. Today we are here with Antonio Hall with A1 Top Notch Security, a Tallahassee-based security company that we believe is a straight-up good kind of company to work for. So, Antonio, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you started your agency.
Well, I started the agency because I had a passion for security. Originally, security was just a source of second income for me. But the more I started doing security, the more I started learning, the more I got passionate about security, and it was a way for us to earn, my wife and I, to earn some extra income. And we always were entrepreneurs, come from a family of entrepreneurs. So we decided that we'd start an agency, and originally we started the agency. We hired I got my wife certified, and we hired some of our friends and family. Some people say that usually doesn't work, but it's worked out fine for us. So we hired some people from our community, so we provide jobs, and we get people trained in security.
So what year did you start your agency?
We started the company in 2015.
Okay. 2015, you've been helping and serving our community and helping to keep the peace in a lot of different places. You and I have been friends for a long time now. So tell me, what are some of the challenges that you found when you're starting your company? What were some of the challenges?
Well, it's a lot of security companies in Tallahassee, so I mean, you have to do something or get your name out there, do something different, offer some things that other security companies don't offer, and be honest and better training for your officers. You just have to. Capital was one thing, so you have to. It takes money to run a business.
Sure does. So you mentioned training. So obviously we're a training academy, but what do you see is the need from a security officer and owner of a security agency, the need for more training in our community?
Well, things are always changing in security. Things are always changing in the world, so you have to stay up on what's new, and you have to continuously keep your officers trained. You don't want anybody to get complacent because things are changing, and that's how people get hurt and killed. So training is definitely necessary. More training, just not the bare minimum. Bare minimal. And do you? What other things would you like to see your officers trained doing? Well, first of all, they definitely have to shoot more than one time a year for the armed officers. Because you run the class, so you know that they come to you and they haven't shot in a year, and it's time to qualify, and they expect to shoot a perfect. It's not going to happen probably. Shooting is always, the more you shoot, the better you'll get. And that's even with the when you need training with the handcuff, OC spray. If they're going to carry a taser, which sometimes we all know is non-lethal, so they need training with these things so they don't hurt themselves or hurt anyone else.
Right, and it helps to reduce your liabilities too when you do that. You know, if your people are trained, right, at least then you can turf some liability on someone else that did the training.
Right.
Dump it on somebody else. Don't keep on doing it. So you've committed your life to keeping peace in different arenas, apartments, construction sites, and things like that. How do you feel the perception of the general public has been to private security, in particular maybe A1 Top Notch? What have you heard back? What kind of feedback have you had from your clients and how you keep peace and control it?
Well, the community, they like to see us there because they know that we are not the police per se, but they know that we keep the peace, and whatever we are securing or protecting, the job will be done. And that's most security companies around. You have some that have some things they need to fix, but most times security is respected if they do their part and do everything that's they should do their job and do it well.
All right. I'm going to ask you a loaded question, Antonio. What do you think makes A1 top-notch the security company that companies and businesses in Tallahassee and Leon County need? Why you? Why you guys? I'm giving you a chance to pat yourself on the back and brag a little bit. All right, so let you get your commercial now. So speak, why A1 top notch? I know I would hire them, but that's just me.
We are a family-owned security company. Me and my wife born and raised in Tallahassee, so we definitely love Tallahassee. And like I said, me and my wife still work, so we don't just send the employees. Sometimes we go to sites ourselves and work. So if the owners doesn't do this job, you know the employees are not going to do their job. And then we are always in constant contact with the site supervisor, the owner, whoever hires us. We're there to answer any of their concerns, day or night. And our words, we tell you we're going to be there at 8 o'clock, we're going to be there at 7:30. We're going to always honor our word. If something goes wrong, we're going to call you and let you know. One of us will be out there, and if something is wrong, we'll make it right.
Right.
Like I say, our company is not perfect, but if something does go wrong, we'll always make it right.
Well, I know from my experience there isn't a perfect security company.
Right.
It doesn't matter how big, how small, or how new. It's like what you said, and that's the impressive thing is that you're in communication constantly with your client. When something's gone wrong, you're letting them know before they find out. I mean, don't you think that that's important as well? Okay. So what kind of properties do you manage and secure?
Right now we have state building, we have apartment complex, we have a housing complex.
Okay.
We patrol a plaza.
So you do a variety of different types of security. I mean, from apartments to state buildings to. Now I know you're starting a patrol model where you're doing randomized patrols. And how's that going? Are you getting that off the ground a little bit? It's a little slower, a little tougher to get into with a lot of different companies doing it.
Correct. Yes. So, but we're getting into it. And like I said, we're getting phone calls daily. So, we're getting phone calls daily. So, everything is going well. And we're in our 5th year. So we're getting there.
Good. So you're 5 years old. You're family-owned company, which is phenomenal. We are too here, and we're proud of that. It's tough. I always had a rule: don't hire your family or don't hire anybody you can't fire. But when it's your wife, you can't really get around that.
My wife is a graduate from FAMU with several degrees from FAM, so
that's awesome.
She's the books most of the time, but we do events, like we do a lot of events for the antique car museum, wedding receptions and parties. So you'll see both of us out there.
Yeah. So I'm sure you have a lot of different employees, and you got a small family of them. You advertise a lot. You also own and manage Tallahassee Security Guard Facebook page. So why did you start that Facebook page?
Well, I started that Facebook page because there's a lot of security guards in Tallahassee, and even though we couldn't hire them all for part-time or full-time work, sometimes we get calls where they'll want 10 or 15 officers, and we figured that if we add this Facebook page and we can network with the security guards in Tallahassee, we can all share knowledge and we can come together, and when it's jobs that we need officers or it's jobs that we can't take, we can give them to another security company, and we can hire off of this site because it's a lot of security guards in Tallahassee.
Yeah, and that's worked pretty good for you, from what I understand.
It's worked pretty good. The site is growing, so everybody's telling everybody, and it's like there's a couple different owners on there, including yourself. Well, yourself, and you let them know what classes you're offering, so we
Right.
can kind of network with the security guards in Tallahassee.
Yeah, it's a great site. So for all our listeners, go to Tallahassee Security Guard Facebook and join it. It's a great avenue to get education, training, and find out when different companies have different openings, because you let almost anybody join it and market it as well, their openings and job openings, don't you?
Correct.
Okay, good. Let's talk about our community. You know, we have seen last year major spikes in murders and killings and shootings and stabbings, and 2021 is not much better. We've already had several. And what do you think that, using your knowledge of our community, because you said you were pretty much born and raised here, what can we do as a community to help lower the violence and make our community a safer place?
I was going to say, like the police on their site, if you see something, say something. I think we're going to have more people talking about what they see and hear, and not be so much of not snitching on nobody. Well, you telling somebody something could save somebody's life. Like I said, I think we have, because we are a college town, we have thousands of college students coming here every year, and they bring their family with them sometimes.
Right.
A lot of them may not go to school here. They bring their family here, and I think that's some of the crime, because certain things that happen on young nights to the club don't happen on older nights to clubs, and certain things. Certain shootings is the younger crowd.
Okay. I mean, why do we seem to be plagued? I mean, year after year, Leon County has always had the highest, crime rate, shooting rates per capita in the state, if not one of the top 5. I mean, what can we do any ideas on what we can do to bring this community together and help lower it? I know we have the police and the city council and commissioners all talking about unity, but how can we, as two adults in the security and firearm safety industry, help bring this community together?
I think we just gonna have to do more. I guess we could have some come together days and do a little more teaching and seeing what the economic situation is of Tallahassee, because usually people that's in lower economical situations tend to be higher crime areas, so do our best to bring economics of the city up. I'm guessing it's
we lowered our prices to help the less economically feasible people, people that are lower incomes, get into, security. And we did that on purpose. We lowered our rates so that we could train more people, because we made our courses affordable, and I know you've hired a lot of them and other agencies, so we look at it like that. We're trying to do something, to help out. And I noticed one good thing about that I've seen with you is you pay better than most security companies starting off. Not all of them, but better than most. You're not starting people at $9 an hour or $9.50 an hour. Your rates are going up. I mean, do you think that something like that, as we continue that?
Yeah, I think that definitely helps, because definitely people want to make a little money. Like I say, they all want to make a lot of money that they don't know the business end of it. If I pay them 15 and I only make 17 with the contract, then I'll go out of business.
Right. We have to make a profit, or
Right.
we can't be in business. And
we try to pay a fair rate, and we try to give benefits for the ones who worked with us for a long time, vacation, sick time. because those are some of the things that we listen to our employees, and those are some of the things that they say will make them stay with the company longer.
Right.
They want a paid vacation, they want some sick time, so now that we out, and we're not gonna get paid, so we try to listen to our employees and do what the best that we can.
Gotcha. So I also heard, we were talking the other day and working together. I'm gonna spill the beans. What's next for you? I hear that's Georgia.
Yes, we definitely want to go to Georgia. We've got some calls from Bainbridge, Thomasville about coming and work in security up there. But as of right now, we don't have the license, so we are getting everything in line to go to Georgia, because we are North Florida, South Georgia, so Georgia's not, what, 30 minutes to Thomasville from
About
Tallahassee?
that, yeah. About 35 minutes, and you're in Thomasville from here.
Correct, and they don't have a lot of security options there, so we're gonna give them some more options.
I think that's awesome. I mean, and it's just Thomasville and Georgia and Cairo and you know, a lot of companies don't want to go there because there's not the big, huge industries, you know, and they can get those big worldwide companies to come in. So sometimes that really can open up the doors for a lot of smaller agencies like yourself that come in and do a great job, you know, and I think that's awesome. Georgia's next. Now, how about Alabama? You ready to go there?
It's a thought.
It's a thought.
Alabama's not too far either. I haven't been that way in a long time, but Alabama's not that far too.
About 3.5 hours. I mean, well, you've got Dalton that you can get to, or Dalton that you can get to in probably, 2 hours,
Right.
just north of Marietta, and you're there.
Yeah,
But
okay.
Mobile is a little bit further going across the rest of that panhandle. So, so we've talked about security training. Do you think that other agencies, I mean, I know you're very focused on getting your people trained, whether with us or somebody, just training. And training yourself, and that's also really important. I think if the owners don't train themselves, they can't help their people. So we talked about training. Do you see other agencies wanting to train people?
Well, I think that everybody should, and I think that everybody will. Somebody just has to start it and make sure that all of their employees are trained above and beyond what the requirements are.
Right.
And like I said, more people require them to be trained, not just do the 40 hours and 28 hours and the 28 hours of your the 4 hours of research every year. So more training, because like I said, security is changing. Nothing stays the same, and we're facing some new problems or just new things come along in security as the world changes all the time. So with security, just like the police, they constantly train, and as security agents, we're going to have to constantly train. We're going to have to take all the courses that you want.
That's true. I mean, if you look at any industry, and I know it's a frustrating thing for me, and you and I talked about it, is that our industry, Florida has some of the highest standards in the country as far as training, the initial training for unarmed and armed, but it still doesn't go far enough. They require 1 4-hour class for armed afterwards, once a year. That's not enough. It's interesting that so many people don't do any more training than that. And there's other training options. There's laser training, there's situational training, and you know, I know, because you and I talked about my frustration of not getting more people in classes, but people say, hey, I want to come to class, I want to come to another class, I want to learn more, and then they never do. And you know, even somebody working at Wendy's or McDonald's or Burger King have to go through some type of new training on how to use a new machine or a new temperature, a new way to flip a burger, a new way to cook a French fry. But it seems like in security, less than 1% want to grow any more than that. You know, how are you planning on addressing that? I mean, how are you going to address getting your people to be the highest trained that's possible?
Well, we're going to definitely partner with you, and we're going to pay for them to come and require them to come and get some more training, because it will help them be better, and it will help our company be better, and it will definitely help with them being trained on how to use OC spray, how to use handcuffs, how to use batons, if they're going to carry a taser, how to use a taser properly, and we'll pay for it, so there's no excuses for them because it's being paid for, and we'll make sure that they have the time off to get these classes, and that will be how you move up in the company, because you definitely want to be safe, and you definitely want to have a good image out there, and training is key to that.
And I know that was a frustrating thing with my company is when I had my agency years ago, you get so busy, it's hard to send somebody to training. They need it, but you need that spot filled first. It gets into a vicious cycle, you know, and at least doing something like what you're talking about, whether it's with us or anyone, it's just they got to get training. I think here's something that I think another thing that I think security officers and owners need to get better at is de-escalation skills. I know from experience, if you got a thin skin in this industry, you're in the wrong business. I've been called names I never even dreamed that. I mean, I had 5 people putting 5 words together that had never been put together before, and they're throwing that out there like they're insulting me. And you know, I think learning to de-escalate can also help us with keeping better peace. If we can talk them down before we spray them, before we have to defend ourselves lawfully with batons or tasers or even, God forbid, a handgun. If we can use our mouth and our brain and our hearts, I think we'd be better off. I mean, what are your opinion on that?
Yeah, I definitely think that, like I say, de-escalation skills are definitely needed, because you come in situations where people are angry. Like I said, we deal with, on North Monroe, we deal with some of the homeless population out there, so they're angry, their life is not going the way that they want it to go. So de-escalation is, I think, probably one of the most valuable skills that you can have, because you're going to have to use that skill the most of the time. You're going to have to talk them down because they're angry, and you got to have some compassion, definitely, because of their situation.
And I've noticed that with the community as well. We talked about community. The community just seems to be angry. And I think that if we can do things we don't know why. I mean, there's too many reasons. We'd spend the next 6 hours sitting here talking about that. But I'm just saying, in general, if we can do things to not escalate it, so that, okay, just because we have all these tools doesn't mean we need to use any of them. And I think de-escalation skills from security to law enforcement to the general public is something that, you know, we've all seen the videos of people when somebody's fighting, it just escalates because everybody's cheering everybody on instead of everybody trying to calm people. I think we'd go a lot farther in making ourselves safer.
Yep.
You know, and safer and a better light, you know, when you can use your skills to calm somebody. You know, sometimes when we have trespassers, what is it that we want? Them to leave. We don't need to escalate it. Let's just get them to go somewhere.
I definitely have to have that skill, and you definitely have to be confrontational sometimes with security because you have to do a job. You might have to tell somebody they can't be on this property. Your compassion, they say, well, I ain't got nowhere else to go. So, you have to have compassion. I deal with that all the time. I ain't got no house to send them to, but I can say I can buy you some lunch. Well, you can go to McDonald's, and I can buy you some lunch. I can buy you some dinner.
Right.
I can call somebody and get you some help. You wait till tomorrow. I know some people in the city council, and we can see can we get you some help. But I can definitely buy you some dinner any day of the week. So, you can't be on this property, but so you got to have some compassion, and that's one thing that I definitely teach all my officers. You got to have some compassion. And if you need me to come over there, we'll figure it out together. I ain't got all the answers, but we'll definitely try to figure it out.
That's a good man, Tony. Thank you. All right, so we're going to wrap up here. So, Tony, if anybody listening to this wants to get a hold of you, what's a good number for them to get a hold of you?
Well, you can reach us at 850-694-9872, A1 Top Notch Security.
All right, and you have a website as well?
We have A1TopNotchSecurity.com. We have Facebook group, Facebook page, A1 Top Notch Security. So.
Okay. And again, what's the phone number one more time?
850-694-9872.
Awesome.
A1 Top Notch Security.
All right, everyone, this is going to come to conclusion of our episode with Peacekeepers Network, sponsored by North Florida Security Academy and 2A Firearms. We're located at 870 Bluntstown Highway in the old tax collector's building. Again, you can reach us at 850-692-2231. Tony, thank you very much for spending a few minutes with us and our audience today. We appreciate it. Be safe and watch your six out there.
Thank you for having us.